Hey, it's Ricky from All Sorts of Words, and this video is going to start off really normal, and then it's going to get weird. Bear with me. I don't think I'd really stated what my comic goals are for this channel. Every time I pull a hair out of my mouth, I have to like make a face. I don't know why. But I have some very specific collector-y goals for this channel. Specific books that I'm looking for over the course of the next year in my buying. Not only that, there are some goals that I have for this channel that are related to comic books, and there's goals that I have for myself that are related to this channel that are related to comic books. And so I wanted to loop not only new viewers into who I am and what I'm looking to do here, but like for the people who've already stuck around, the amazing 148-ish subscribers that I've garnered, I wanted to give you an idea as to what all of this nonsense is about too. So first, with the comic collecting goals, I'm in a phase right now where I'm looking for quality over quantity. I have about 6,000 comic books that are for reading. Huge runs, huge collections. Please go see my other videos if you want to know what those are about. Now I'm looking for those big, sexy keys. We all have our list in our head of big, sexy keys. And they're as unique as fingerprints, quite frankly, like what we want to have represent our collection as the huge books we put on the wall. Well, I do have a list of those and I'm going to share them. In no particular order, Brave and the Bold 28. I love the Justice League. You can't be a DC fan in any capacity without having some love for the Justice League. Yeah, well, I only love like Zatanna and Swamp Thing and stuff. Yeah, well, great. They formed the Justice League Dark. Like the name, the League means something to DC, just like Avengers does to Marvel. I don't know how you could be a fan of the big company without the big team that represents that company. You know what I'm saying? Here's a weird one, not DC. Evil Ernie #1. Now, in case you didn't know, Evil Ernie #1 is the first appearance of Evil Ernie, but also the first appearance of Lady Death. And I'm like a 90s good girl kind of collector. It's not just DC. I have a huge Vampirella collection. Surprise. I've got like the first Purgatoria and a bunch of Witchblade. I like that type of character, like the visual aesthetic, obviously because I'm a straight white boy. I don't know. Those stories are kind of like what you imagine the story behind a Metallica cover would be, or an Iron Maiden cover. I'm really just missing Lady Death to make it a rounded off collection. I've already got the first Zombie Tramp. Even Gun Honey now is a modern version of that, but I do want to add Evil Ernie 1 to my collection. Showcase 22. This is notably the first appearance of Hal Jordan, but I don't care about Hal Jordan. Believe it or not, Hal Jordan wasn't interesting from this point in time until this point in time. Like 50 years of Green Lantern stories, and this guy is the most boring, milquetoast, no one really knowing what to do with him character. He's just not very good. Now he's got a lot more to him, but really still it's the environment around him that makes him interesting. It's the characters around him that make him interesting. Hal Jordan just kind of sucks. Okay, Editor Ricky here. I realized that I didn't really explain why Hal Jordan sucks so much. His character was just like challenge to the authority man. Anytime 5 people on a team agreed to go left, he would go right for the sake of going right. He was always really cocky. He didn't play well with others. He was dumb and his plans never worked. And he was powerful, but never as powerful as the people he was challenging. So you just have this like acerbic, brash character who's spitting in the face of like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, his betters. And we all just kind of had to be cool with it. But because his environment, the other Green Lanterns that he hung out with, his villains, his other Justice League members were so interesting, we just kind of tolerated him for 50 years. But the reason why I want this book is because I'm a huge fan of the Green Lantern Corps. I love the idea of a space police force. I love cosmic-y characters, and you can't get more cosmic than the Green Lanterns. And so this isn't just the first appearance of Green Lantern to me. This is the first appearance of the core. House of Secrets, 92. The first appearance of Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing does something that I say he passes the grandma test. What is the grandma test? Well, this is a Ricky thing. I judge the cultural significance of a character based on how much your grandmother knows about that character. So, for example, if I showed your grandma this, she would say, bird lady? I don't know. Or this magical woman? And then you get into like the classic stuff. Like if you showed her this, she'd go, oh, that's Clark Kent. He's a reporter from another planet. He can fly and he's got a girlfriend named Lois Lane, who's also a reporter. But if you give her the name Swamp Thing, oh, I've heard of Swamp Thing. That's what I mean by cultural significance. Does your grandma know anything about that character? If she knows Spider-Man, his name is Peter Parker, and he lives in New York, that's pretty culturally significant. But if she says Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, maybe not so significant. Swamp Thing is at the lower tier of cultural significance. But I believe the fact that this unpopular, unmovied character who even in the comics doesn't always have a presence, the fact that that name Swamp Thing has existed in the zeitgeist is huge. And I believe that despite my sincere love for the Alan Moore stories and the character itself, now is the time to get into a book like this, because if Swamp Thing's unpopular now, but still in the zeitgeist, like 30 years from now, this book is going to be just like so much more rare. Final book, and this is where I'm ending. This is the number one book on my list. This is the most important book to me, and I will pull financial strings tomorrow if I can get an amazing price on this book. That's Adventure Comics 247, the first appearance of the Legion of Superheroes. I'm a huge Superman fan, and in the canon timeline, this is the first team Superman ever belonged to. Even if you look at like Golden Age Superman in the Justice Society when he became an honorary member with Batman, you got to remember, like, that's Superman. Superboy is who was in the Legion of Superheroes. The Legion are the X-Men, effectively, but in the 30th century. It's the year like 2894, or 94, 98, somewhere in there. And it's superpowered teens who are inspired to activism in the future. And so they look back at humanity's past and they say, what would be a good application of our powers where we could help people? Hey, do you remember way back, like 1,000 years ago, there were a thing called superheroes, and the most famous of them all was Superman. So maybe we, as teens from the future, should go back in time and meet this guy and see what superheroing's really about, and if we want to carry it into the 30th century. And that's exactly what they do. They go back in time, they meet Superboy, he becomes a member of the team. It's awesome. And it creates this kind of like paradox of a snake eating its tail. Like, Superboy sticks to it and becomes better based on his involvement with them from the future. So then, did them from the future influence their own present? It's a pretty weird paradox, but this book came from 1958, right? The Legion is so insular. They're so specific to their own stories and only ever crossing over with the super family, Superboy, Superman, Supergirl, that it wasn't even until like 2008 in the Lightning Saga where the rest of the Justice League actually gets to meet them. So like 50 years have passed in real time, right? 50 years. And it took that long for Batman to face off against Karate Kid. Yeah. So one of the reasons why I love the Legion so much is because it is so isolated. They can get away with weird characters, weird stories. Characters die all the time because who cares? I don't know. I get a perfect marriage of long form continuity while also being so divorced from the main company, DC, the main company's continuity, that like I get that strange indie weirdness that I'm looking for out of comics. They're just my favorite team. And this is the most significant book they have. It's the most expensive book too. So over the next year, I'd like to get as many of those keys I just outlined as possible. But those are my comic goals. I promised you weirdness, right? So what are my weird goals, and how does that relate to what we're doing here? One of my comic goals is for this channel to get a lot bigger. And for that, I need to, I don't know. I guess I need to be like more honest and more consistent with my videos and more fun with my videos. I put a ton of work into my videos, which creates a lot of weird anxiety in me. Like I have to be fun and creative. Like go watch any of my other videos. They're like really bad Saturday Night Live sketches. And so these ideas come to me, but sometimes I start filming them and they don't feel right. Or sometimes ideas don't come at all and I feel stupid. And so there's this like imposter syndrome of like, I want to be creative online and I want to have fun with this stuff, but I'm trying to find an equilibrium where I don't feel so goddamn nervous. Like even just setting up my camera, I find myself creating artificial roadblocks. Like there was a bit of fluff in my sock. And I know this is weird, but just please, there was a bit of fluff in my sock near the heel, and I would have had to take my sock off to get this little bit of fluff out. But like, I'm setting up my camera, I'm setting up the mic, I'm doing everything I need to, and I think to myself, I have to get this bit of fluff out of my sock before I continue. This is what's going through my brain, that like everything has to be perfect before I start. And there's this like laissez-faire, relaxed YouTuber that I love, that I wish I could be. There's so many YouTubers like that. They set up their camera and they just talk, and they have this relaxed quality to them. And I feel like I have to fake that so much because I'm trying to perform because I want to perform. I knew this would come off as rambly. But so that's a goal for the channel, me to get more relaxed, create more relaxed content while also being able to just talk about comics. So that's what you're going to see from me over the next couple weeks. Some content that allows me to just kind of be myself a little more and not so performative. I do like doing the performative stuff. I don't want you to think that's not the case, but God damn it, I knew this would be weird, but whatever, I'm putting it up. The last thing, and this is me opening up the most. This is a goal for this year and the oncoming months. I'm trying to lose weight. I've always known that I had a weight problem, and it's never eluded me. Like nobody who carries this much extra weight around doesn't know what they are, or what they look like. And it's come full force doing this channel, like looking at myself on camera and putting myself out there like this. Like for you, you're just watching this video. For me, however long this video is, there's an additional 10 minutes to an hour of me editing the video over the course of a day to get it ready, where I'm just staring at myself. Imagine you get a photograph of yourself at a Christmas party, and later on you get a copy and you look at it and you hate it. Magnify that by 1,000 and you have an idea of what it's like to put yourself on camera. So all that's my stuff. I want to make it clear, no one in this community has made me feel ugly or unattractive. No one's insulted me. This is just my own bullshit that I'm dealing with. And so while I'm trying to build this channel, while I'm trying to build my own comic collection and be authentic and talk to y'all, this is something that I'm struggling with and I'm working with. And so over the last 2 weeks, I've lost 10 pounds. It's not a lot, but it's a start. And I'm kind of just like putting it out in the universe because I don't know. I just want to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like so much of this space is artifice. Look at where I went shopping. Look at the value of this comic book. It's almost like a a poor man's lifestyles of the geeky and famous on YouTube right now, where comic books are concerned. And I want to be more authentic and open with y'all. So consider this my minimally edited, no sketch, just kind of talking. I mean, if you stuck around this long and you've listened, or you've watched my other videos, or you hit subscribe, I'm grateful. Know that, and also know that I am actively working at all times to try to bring you my most authentic self, to improve the quality of the content that I bring you. And that's it. Thanks for sticking around. This might be weird if you're used to my other stuff, but I appreciate you. Love you. Bye.